I've always wondered if there's a world record for the craziest thing someone did to mess with their neighbor. If there is, I bet my old farm truck that my old HOA president, a woman I'll call Karen, would totally win. Picture this, one cold Tuesday morning. I woke up to find 5 huge shipping boxes. Giant metal boxes making a wall you can't get through across what Karen thought was just my farm's driveway. Oh, Karen, if only you had checked the facts first. Drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from, because you're not going to believe what this bossy woman's plan to mess up my small farm totally backfired on her thanks to something called checking the facts and my job planning cities. 2 years ago, I bought a 10-acre piece of land next to a shiny new neighborhood called Meadowview Heights, a kind of place with a name that sounds like nature, but really has copycat houses, and a rule book thicker than a phone book. My land was old, a leftover piece from way back when, complete with an old farmhouse, a good barn, and most importantly, a way to get there via a dirt road I'll call Liberty Lane. This wasn't just my driveway, it was a legal path written into papers 70 years before Meadowview's first big fancy house was built. I'm a city planner for my job, so details are what I do best. I'd looked at every map, paper, and ownership document before buying. My way to get there was totally protected. I dreamed of a small organic farm, vegetables, a few chickens, maybe a couple of rescue goats. Quiet, good for the earth, perfect. But Karen had other plans, none of which involved peace, unless she was the one making the rules. Karen was the unbeaten ruler of Meadowview Heights, using her HOA hammer like a magic wand. She was a sight in fake designer shirts, her fake tan getting darker with every time someone upset her. Her hair was like a castle of blonde dreams. She drove around the neighborhood in a golf cart that was louder than my pickup truck, or in her perfect black Cadillac SUV so shiny you could see your own scared face in its front as she followed you too close for daring to drive the speed limit of 25 miles per hour. Trouble started small. A mean note about the grass along Liberty Lane, not even my land, but the path I kept clean. Then an official HOA letter printed on fancy paper complaining about my compost boxes, which were 100 yards from the road, and you couldn't see unless you were spying with a telescope. I checked the HOA's rules. Nothing about compost on your own land. I sent a nice, perfect reply talking about the rules and what they could control. Big mistake. Karen didn't work on smart thinking. She worked on her ego. The complaining got worse. My sometimes trips down Liberty Lane with my truck, maybe carrying animal food or tools, became too much business traffic. Or I didn't realize how much she believed in her own wrongness. A week later, those 5 shipping boxes showed up, 40 feet each, end to end. A 200-foot steel middle finger blocking Liberty Lane. My farm was cut off. My first reaction wasn't anger, it was amazement at how bold she was. My second was, all right, Karen, you just messed with the wrong person. My farm wasn't a fun hobby. It was how I made money, with food that goes bad quickly and a tight planting schedule. I called the police non-emergency line. A tired officer showed up, looked at the boxes, and shrugged. Civil problem. Take it to court. He did give Karen's SUV a ticket, parked proudly in front of her steel wall like a prize. A small win, but not enough. I marched to the HOA office, a changed model house at the far end of Meadowview. Karen was there, acting like a queen with her followers. Linda, a nervous woman who looked like one mean word would make her cry, and Steve, a big guy who treated Karen's words like law. They drank coffee from Meadowview cups. The irony of their great leadership slogan choking the air. Karen, I said, voice calm, you've blocked my legal path. Move those boxes today. She smiled meanly, eyes shining with nastiness. Safety measures, dear. Liberty Lane is HOA property and we're stopping damage from your heavy machines. I reminded her of my paperwork. Steve puffed up, saying the group voted. It's done. Linda stared at her cup. And how will you get to this office now? I asked. Karen pointed at a strip of grass beside the building. Clearly not a road, we're fine. Worry about your little farm. I left, taking photos of the boxes in Karen's car. Back home, My city planner brain started working. Karen thought she'd blocked a driveway. She'd actually blocked something way more important to her kingdom. I looked through my paperwork forever. Non-private path for all uses. Check. The HOA's rules, no power to block paths, especially for non-members like me. Check. Then the Treasure County records. Liberty Lane wasn't just my path, mapped in the 1940s as a public road start for a never-built county road. It had a confusing sort of public status. Even better, the HOA's office piece of land listed Liberty Lane as its only legal way to get there. Karen's grass shortcut was just lawn, probably breaking her own rules against driving on shared areas. She hadn't just trapped me, she'd trapped her own headquarters. I called Mike. She messed herself up, I said, showing the maps and history. He whistled. This is great. She's not just fighting you, she's fighting her own way to get there. We planned our attack back. Mike sent a certified letter to Karen and the group demanding the boxes be moved within 72 hours, asking for payment. For my farm's losses, and pointing out that they'd cut off their own office. It talked about court cases and included maps. I also got help from friends. A neighbor, Walt, a retired map maker, confirmed Liberty Lane's history, remembering old Farmer Jenkins who'd owned my land and fought for that road. Word spread. People grumbled about Karen's spending on boxes. Workers, landscapers, mail carriers were bothered, making people more upset. Karen's answer came by email, a masterpiece of craziness. She dismissed my interesting claims, said Liberty Lane was HOA controlled, and claimed lots of ways to get to their office. Steve agreed. Well, said Karen. Linda stayed quiet. Her lies were now written down. I sent it to Mike. She's doubling down, I said. What's next? He smiled over the phone. We asked the county. As a planner, I knew county process like my own heartbeat. We filed a request to make clear Liberty Lane's status as a shared private road or public start, talking about its history, my path rights, and the HOA's self-sabotage. We included maps, photos, Walt's sworn statement, and Karen's email. The goal: remove the boxes and lock in Liberty Lane's status forever. The county moved slowly but surely. A planner, Ms. Carter, did a site visit, measuring and taking pictures of the boxes. Karen and Steve tried to charm her, but Carter's no-nonsense attitude shut them down. Days later, the HOA got a violation notice, blocking a mapped path and damaging shared areas with their lawn driveway. They had 10 days to fix it or face fines. Karen ignored it. Fines piled up. People whispered about a special meeting to kick her out. Linda was spotted crying. The boxes stood firm, rusty symbols of Karen's pride.
The real showdown was the county planning group hearing.
Mike and I prepared like generals. We had big maps, a tight presentation, and a folder of my damages. The room buzzed with Meadowview people, Karen's shrinking followers, and a growing crowd of fed-up homeowners. Walt was ready to speak. Ms. Carter presented first. Report a surgical takedown. Liberty Lane was mapped for access. My path rights were real, and the HOA's office needed it. She recommended affirming the road status and ordering box removal. Mike followed, calm but deadly, highlighting Karen's defiance and the HOA's own trap. Nervous replacement stumbled, claiming HOA independence. A commissioner demanded proof of their other access. He had none. Then Karen spoke, ignoring her lawyer's begging. She unleashed a rant, accusing me of ruining Meadowview's character and calling Liberty Lane our path. Her voice cracked as she ranted about tractors and dirt. It was a public meltdown. The chairman cut her off, voice like steel. We deal in facts, Mrs. Thompson. The maps are clear. You've blocked your own office. The vote was unanimous. Liberty Lane was a shared private road. Boxes had to go within 48 hours, and the lawn violation was upheld. The next morning, a crew hauled the boxes away. Karen disappeared. Steve watched, deflated. Liberty Lane gleamed. At an emergency HOA meeting, people, armed with the county order, forced Karen's quitting. Steve quit soon after. Linda, surprisingly, stepped up as temporary president, promising changes. The HOA now uses Liberty Lane daily, driving past my farm a constant reminder of Karen's foolishness. They even pay for its upkeep, per the county's agreement. My farm thrives, its access protected forever. Meadowview's new group under Linda is open, even asking my input on small land issues. This fight wasn't just about a road. It was about proving that facts, law, and a well-placed map can beat even the most petty tyrant. So, if you're battling a Karen, dig deep, know your rights, and never underestimate the power of paperwork. Hit that subscribe button for more tales of bureaucracy biting back.